You. What's an issue pertaining to anti-Semitism in Canada that stands out most to you? And why?
It would be the stereotyping of Jews so that immediately you're behind the eight ball. So if you're 3 years old, you're labeled. There's nobody standing up for you.
You.
I think what I'm really having trouble with is getting the news out to the Jewish community so that they know about it. And I know, like, I follow Jewish breaking news. It's not local. We need a local feed to make all our Jewish people aware of the events that are happening and the mobilization that we need. And if all the community organizations could come together on one platform, I think it would be a really good way to make everyone aware, not just those who are following on social media, but those who used to rely on the Canadian Jewish news, who no longer have access to a printed version all the time. We need to get the message across in a more, specific way.
Well, your wish has been granted. We have ourselves our QR code banner right here, so I'll bring that to you. Everyone, following the conclusion of this, I want to do an exercise with all of you. Because, we've been here for the majority of the day. But I want to do a joint exercise between the United States and Canada to do something on a collaborative front to show that anti-Semitism has no borders. Right now, the End Jew Hatred movement is working on a serious issue impacting one of the largest urban university systems in the United States. Raise your hand if you have heard of City University, New York. Can you believe it? Over half the crowd here has heard of the systemic nature of anti-Semitism at City University, New York. It's amazing that the news has reached international attention. It shouldn't be the case where such systemic anti-Semitism is happening at all. Tuesday, there is going to be a historic protest taking place on September 12th at 5:30 p.m. where we're getting together with our interfaith partners, bipartisan elected officials, interfaith leaders, and members of the Jewish community of New York City. I want you all to leave today feeling that you made a difference on an international basis. What I want right now is for all of you to take out your phones. And when you take out your phones, go to endjewhatred.com/actions. When you click on, or when the page buffers, I want you all to raise your hand when it shows up for you. I'm sorry?
What does it say again?
endjewhatred.com/actions. When the page populates, please raise your hand. You got it? You guys have it up? Perfect. Now, I want you to look at something that says End Jew Hatred at CUNY. You guys see a prompt? I want you to click on it. The key to a successful campaign is to facilitate as much public pressure on the most systemic university system around the country. This is something that has traumatized Jewish students, completely decimating their experience when it should be memorable, warm, the greatest chapter of their lives, making friends, meeting people from within and outside their bubbles. But instead, it's defined by Jew hatred, demonization, delegitimization, and denial, and in some circumstances, violence. For all of you who may not be aware, there's been a trend of events that have been happening over the summer. And when you guys see a button on the page that says, email the chancellor, raise your hand if you see the button. Does anyone need help populating the screen? Raise your hand if you see it. A button that says, send email to the chancellor. Now, mobilization can be deployed in various different strategies. I prefer the old-fashioned way, which is on the ground. But, like I said, every movement has to facilitate public pressure, whether it's through media, whether it's through public protests, calls for legislation. There's a lot of ways to measure the success of it. Now, for CUNY, City University of New York, we've been engaging in an email campaign to build up pressure, leading into a very, very historic protest. I want you all to click send email to the chancellor. And what you're going to see is a populated email that comes from the End Jew Hatred movement expressing dismay at the series of events that have been going on over the summer. Now, for those of you who don't know what's been going on, there was a law school commencement speech made by Fatima Mohammed. It started this summer, but some can argue justifiably that it really started the year prior, when the school has been selecting radical Palestinian activists who hijack social justice causes for the namesake of maintaining. It's appalling. It's appalling what goes down there. I can't even begin to get into detail. Some of the stories we hear from some of these students is just too much to bear. I'm from Michigan. I flew out here from Michigan this morning. You know, my school's enemy school, so to speak, the University of Michigan, is known for having a series of anti-Semitic incidents on campus, but it is nothing compared to what has been going on at City University of New York. Now, I want everyone to feel like they made a significant effort and difference to pressure the chancellor of the City University of New York, who openly defended the dean of the law school, who was present at that commencement speech, and openly praised Fatima Mohammed. She embraced her. And the dean decided that it would be a smart idea to go to a synagogue after getting confronted by one of our prominent activists who just so happened to be a board member of that synagogue and openly defend the dean. And how do you think the crowd reacted? Why don't you all show me the reaction that you anticipate? Whoever said boo, 100% correct. It's crazy, but it doesn't even end there. The board member pressed the chancellor, asking him, hey, what are you going to do to solve the systemic nature of Jew hatred that's been escalating on your campus? He goes, oh, we're working with the ADL, and, you know, for the most part, I've noticed that some people tend to politely clap inappropriately when they see something that doesn't seem fit. Crowd goes haywire against him for all the right reasons. Then the chancellor pulls Ari aside, the board member, and says, look, we've been taking this seriously. We're going to address Jew hatred on campus, we promise. Now, what happens next?
Nothing.
Oh, something happens, but you're not wrong. For the most part, a study.
The professor gets disciplined for asking the question.
4 Jewish professors get disciplined and put under investigation for reporting against BDS on campus and anti-Semitism. 4 Jewish professors. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Are you outraged?
Yes.
I don't hear it. Are you outraged?
Yes.
Let me hear it. Let's go louder.
Yes.
That's what I love to hear. But unfortunately, it gets worse. About a week and a half after the investigation was launched, comes the hiring of a guy who appeared on several different news outlets and for a while worked for a prominent US-based one called CNN. His name, Mark Lamont Hill. He was fired from CNN. He was fired from CNN for going to the United Nations and uttering a Hamas rallying call for death against Jews, from the river to the sea. And Cooney hired him. Does that sound like a campus that wants to take Jew hatred seriously? I can't hear you guys. Does that sound like a serious effort to fight Jew hatred on campus? No. I can't hear you. No. What was that? No.
Excuse me. It's a bit too loud. It's like busting.
I want to hear you roar. Oh, from my side. All good. Anyways. So for those of you, I want to touch back to the email campaign leading into Tuesday's rally. The goal of the email campaign is to maximize pressure against the school system. We've had people sending emails daily from all around the world and all around the United States. Now, the reason I asked you all about what issues stand out to you is because I want to spend a lot of time here. I'm not that far away. I'm closer to you guys than you think, geographically. I really want to help amplify all of your voices and keep you guys in the loop of things that are going on internationally. Unfortunately, when it comes to City University, New York, this isn't a campaign. This is war. Now, when you see the red button on the page, endjewhatred/action, or endjewhatred.com//action, and then you click endjewhatred at CUNY, you get an automatic email that's populated that you guys can read, modify to your own tailoring, whatever you want, and then click to send. Could you imagine if the chancellor woke up tomorrow morning to see 30-something, 40 emails coming out of Canada? Canada's paying attention. The whole world is watching. Now, I want you all to hit that red button, send a message that Jew hatred will no longer be tolerated. Whether it's at City University, New York, or any other school or university system around the world, the End Jew Hatred movement is going to serve as a resource to help elevate, support Jewish students, empower voices, provide legal services, everything you can anticipate. And we're only just getting started. Now, I wanted to thank everybody for bringing me out here, all the way from Michigan. You know, Corey, seriously, thank you. Anita, everybody. It really, really, really means a lot. It's been a very long time since I've spoken, you know, in front of a crowd, but I can get used to this. Anyways, thank you, everybody. Send those emails, spread the word, copy and paste, you know, 5 seconds, you can make a significant difference. We're all in this biyachad.